And the other point is, if these were easy, we would have libraries full of these things, and they're not. They're conspicuously absent because they just take time. And it takes that research and testing which you guys are up to. So I appreciate that. That's all I got.
Are there other questions? Josh?
Are you giving them your waterfall project?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
But he's got to make it better.
I do have to make it better. Let's see here. I feel like there's one or two more things to say about this. I just lost them. So far, I'm just really excited to have you guys as partners.
Yeah, we're excited too.
Yeah.
Our pleasure. We had,
So you're going to invite people to
Yeah, I haven't done it yet. So there's been a little bit of vocabulary thrown around. There's Buckeye Box. We use that for some of our summer work. They've set up a new Buckeye Box account, and we're going to actually be using something pretty similar where we're going to upload a challenge with all of its documents to a Buckeye Box account so that they can populate a website with a template, with a video, with everything that they need to know. And maybe we'll add some extra content just in case there might be room for it just in the archives. But really, we have to look at what our client has asked us. And those have been boiled down to basically two different things, right? You want a video about 3 minutes, self-standing, and then you want a 2-page document. That's pretty much what you want.
yeah.
And if you need, I don't know, we talked about if your design challenge would like to have something where you sketch your design first, is that still?
Well, we want to include things like the simple Word document and all these different things, but these are things that are things we wanted and liked. We're going to provide them to our client, but they might run their setup a little different. Maybe put on there, tell the kids to pull out a blank sheet of paper and write out this before they do it. You know, different things like that. So there is a little bit of flex that we have to account for.
And a little bit of history, give you a little bit of history on this. Where it first started with me with design challenges about 10 years ago with some physics students. And it was real simple, and yet this has been like the most popular little thing we do in 4-H. Purely so there were some physics students kind of hanging out in the lab one day, and they took some grapes. They put the grapes in the microwave. Are you guys familiar with that little activity?
No.
Well, apparently if you take a seedless grape, preferably a red, rounded seedless grape. Oh, these guys did research on this stuff. And you cut it in half, set the one half down, take that one half left, and cut that half almost in half. Leave a little flap of skin between the two halves. Put it in the microwave, close the door, put it on high for about 10 seconds, and this plasma energy will begin to erupt from that little filament that's connecting the two halves of the grape. And so the challenge was how to try to get the most eruptions possible out of a grape, and then add some grapes, and what's the maximum capacity, because there's a right number, so to speak. And it's absolutely incredible for kids who just have time on their hands. They're cutting grapes, they're putting them in the microwave. It's really easy, you can get your hands on grapes in microwaves. And it's such a hoot to see, and some of the groups have actually gone as far as to differentiate between types of grapes. It's kind of an experiment, but really it's an engineering challenge to get the right cut, right grape, right positions, and so forth. And the whole chemistry behind it, apparently, as you know, the photosynthesis process, you've got light energy, which creates the sugars, and apparently in this process, it's taking the sugars and converting them back into light energy. There's a whole bunch of research behind it. But that was 10 years ago. That was physics students with time on their hands. If you go on the web now and research grapes and microwaves, just put those two key words in there, you'll find all of this great stuff. So hooray for Ohio State, put us on the right path. And so it's fun. But that's kind of the stuff, but remember that fun part first, and the rest will catch up later. Yeah.
Did it damage the microwave at all?
They always ask that, and I still have my original microwave, 10 years later. Still working, still doing its little thing, so. No, it doesn't seem to damage it. What it does do, it can create a lot of smoky stuff. So you need to be in a room that doesn't have some real sensitive smoke detectors.
Wow.
Yeah, try that. Party sometimes. Well, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
I'm looking
Thank you.
forward to seeing the staff.
Jane, would you like to talk, maybe introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. My name is Jane Ryan. I'm Curriculum Manager for Ohio 4-H. So this is kind of a different scale project for us. Usually we do books of activities or, whole projects. Any former 4-Hers in here, by the way? Not in this group. Generally speaking, 1 in 6 Ohioans is a 4-H alum. So it's really interesting, very exciting. I'm looking forward to making this leap into making smaller bits of curriculum available. So we'll see how this goes. Should be really good. So thanks for your efforts.
That's awesome. Okay, great. Thank you, guys.
Welcome.
All right, stick around here. We gotta do 1 or 2 more quick things, and then we'll probably end early. Okay. Have a wonderful day.
All right.
Yeah, nice weather.
See?
Yeah, Howard. Hey, nice t-shirts, man.
Thank you.
That's not a good lever.
I'm a mechanical engineer. I can remember those kind of things.
No.
I once broke through like a towel rack where it's just like a diamond bar and then it's supported on one end and on the other. And like I'm, push straight through and it breaks instantly. And then I have to like think through like the bending moment and like the bending stress when you have 2 fixed points and it's the weakest at the middle. I'm like, I should have known that. I should have. All these silly things that engineers never should say out loud. Okay.
And now you just send out videos.
Not that you guys watch the videos anyway. So. Okay. What do you guys think?
Exciting.
Is it?
I like that it was a pretty clear, this is what we want.
It's a little different, isn't it? What are some other thoughts we got? Joan, you've been part of programs like this kind of stuff before. TSA, was it?
Yeah. I don't know, I think it's interesting that they're having us do it to these days. I think that, I don't know, there are different things that I would say to facilitators that I wouldn't say to students, so.
There is a little bit of a challenge. We made a product for ourselves first. And now we have a client who has a different clientele. And honestly, I think it'll be a good final challenge for us to have different constraints. Kind of like when we gave our students like, oh, you did it this way, that's great. You were successful, great. Well, let's make it just a little bit harder where you have to do this now. So honestly, I think that we're going to be up for the challenge. I think that what we're going to do is that we're going to save all the materials as maybe final drafts of what we wanted, with different things with like, I want the documentation, I want the PowerPoint, I might even want a voiceover of your PowerPoint. I'm going to get back to you on that. I think that that would be excellent to have once you guys move off and go away. You have all these PowerPoints or different things. Just do a voiceover real quick. PowerPoint has that functionality already inside of it. All of a sudden, I've got you, and you don't have to be there, okay? But our partner's not looking for those things. So I kind of want to supply them with a couple extra things because they might need them and they might not know it yet. You know what I mean? But they're asking for a video and they're asking for a 2-page document. Yes, Mom.
I think that almost makes sense though, because he was really stressing that he didn't want it to be like school. And I think that a PowerPoint is a lot like school. So everyone sit down and listen to me, because I'm going to talk to you right now, versus just, if we could explain everything in a 3 to 5-ish, something like that, minute video.
3, not 3 to 5.
Okay, well, hers is 3 minutes and 9 seconds, so I think but if we could do that, I think that that's going to be a better tell. Like the students were really responding to videos versus the PowerPoint. Like they were okay with it, but also, as a facilitator, I wouldn't want to sit here and listen to someone sending a PowerPoint and then voicing it over for me.
Yeah, not unless you really, really cared about Josh.
Did you say 2-page?
Yeah, so they're looking for a pamphlet. They're looking for a front and back.
Okay.
That's what they wanna do.
So 2 pages front and back.
Yeah.
Oh, just okay, page front and back.
John?
Do you know if Forge has had engineering design challenges that are based on very specific scientific research?
It's a tough question, Joan. I mean, we are trendsetters in this zone. Is there anything behind that? Is there any
I
reason?
mean, I don't know, because a lot of the engineering design challenges, it's pretty self-explanatory, like you don't need to like she didn't have to explain what a chemical spill was, like it was very like self-explanatory, but I don't think that's how it is with a lot of ours. So that's why I thought.
I think it's part of the challenge for us to filter it down as low as possible with as kind of concise as possible. I want to see if we can do it. I don't want to give up yet, but I understand the challenge of it. Elsa?
So like when we were doing our presentations for the kids, we were really focusing on our research because of our, like at that point, our client was our professors. So at this point, is it not quite as important to focus on what we did over the summer, and it's more important like where the research or where the design challenge is looking at?
Howard's blowing a gasket.
Would you like to speak?
Will you let me?
Yeah.
I think it's all about the motivation behind your design challenges. If you lose that, and I heard that from our middle school teachers, if you lose that, you've lost the essence of the why behind why you're doing this. Now, you're gonna have to make it, all exist inside a 3-minute video. That's really hard. That may be really challenging, but you've gotta come up with a motivation, and the motivation was your research experience. If you lose that, then someone's just making a kit. There's no purpose behind it. And your purpose came from your research, and you have to communicate that.
I'd like to add to that maybe a lot of what the work we've done up to this point, I don't think is it just means repurposed. It's not like it's worthless. It never is worthless, but it's not like, Elsa, I'll get to you in a second. Sometimes we dealt with problems that were specific to your research experience as you as an intern. But what we always pushed you to think about was, what is the greater application? What's the societal impact? And maybe some of the really key science topics or different things of what societal impacts is. So some of the aspects we might not want to focus on in terms of your day in and day out activities. You still being in the lab is important, I believe, because I want you seen in these videos. I would like, just kind of like that kid there, it's important to have that kind of face to recognize, hey, this is me, this is the kind of stuff I'm helping with, okay? Elsa?
Yeah, I wasn't implying that we ignore completely why we came up with the design challenge and just do oh, this is what we're doing today, here we go. I was just saying that, in broader spectrum, our design challenges do not directly relate to our research. I don't think it's possible to really, at least it's speaking from my experience, for my research, it is impossible for me to relate my design challenge to my research and still get enough concepts across. Because my research, it just didn't really have anything to do with my design challenge. Yeah, it could,
Well, when we say your research and then what we're talking about is the research being done at OSU, the end goal. Some of you guys are still thinking in terms of your part that you play. And I don't want you to focus on that. Yes, Josh?
Well, I know for me, my design challenges are very loosely related, because they were studying simulations to figure out how to make a certain material stronger or certain battery stronger. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I just made design challenges where they were thinking about how can you make your design stronger with polymers. So mine's very loosely related. So I mean,
I heard the client say metaphor,
yeah.
and so I think that's perfectly acceptable. A lot of what you guys did was an analogy or a metaphor or whatever, and I think that's okay.
Yeah, I think I don't think that was the question. We know that it's okay for 4-H to have something simple to understand, but do you think you're going to be betraying your research faculty member by doing this? honestly, I don't think that they're gonna feel betrayed just from at least knowing what this course has been doing, and we've tried to involve them and show them what we've been doing as they've been happening. If they really had some problems, they should have let us know while they were going, like, no, this is worthless. Like, I think Shayla, your advisor, was it John? No. What's your advisor's name?
Paul Burton.
Paul.
Burton.
He recognized, first of all, he's like, the first year engineering program doesn't even have a good design lab for semiconductors. Like, he's like, how are you supposed to do this with cheap materials? He recognized the challenges of doing something that is directly applicable. But there's sometimes things that we can do that, you know, it's just about pointing back to OSU and showing that this has a greater significance. If it's just pointing to the fact that this is cool, it ends with the project. It only has the excitement in the moment. Like, the grapes is awesome, but you just know something about grapes. You have no idea, like, to go to OSU and research the chemical properties of fruit at, you know, this research lab, as a chemical engineer, you know, all those different fun things. We want to point back to vision for them. Vision for how society works. What is the engineer's place? Remember all those readings we had where the whole public is completely unaware at times of what the engineer's place is, what kind of stuff they're working on, who does this, why they do it? We're pointing back to a population that might not even be engineers, all of them, but at least understand what they do and know a little bit better if they want to be one or not.
Good example is and I forget whose group it is, but it was, I've got to deliver chemotherapy drugs to the bad cells and avoiding the good cells. And how many of the general public realize that that's a problem with chemotherapy? Is that, well, it happens to hit a lot of the good cells, and that's a major problem. Anyway, so you're really communicating the purpose behind, or one of the purposes behind pharmaceutical research for cancer. And when you do that, and so they're not just dropping ping pong balls into a cup. They're delivering pharmaceutical agents to bad cells and not hitting the good cells. That's extremely important.
And with that, just know that you're gonna get facilitators that are gonna read these, and they're gonna be like, oh sweet, this is a great design challenge. The kids gotta get these balls into this blue cup, not the red cups. That's all they're gonna tell kids. Get the ping pong balls in the blue cup, not the red cups. And then you're gonna get dynamic facilitators who are gonna be like, this is why, and this is where it makes the connection to. And I think that's what you wanna sell, because like we're saying, in reality, you guys need to sell engineering as, why do we want to get young kids involved in this career instead of going and wanting to be on American Idol or The Voice, right? Because that's what they see every day, that, oh, if I could sing, I could be on one of 50 shows, right? You don't see Design Squad at 8 o'clock on ABC, because that's not what our society is about, right? So it's getting that push and getting that out there and making it, I mean, you're gonna get people who are like, oh, this is a great thing. Get the ping pong ball in the blue cup, good luck. And then you're gonna get those people that give the reasoning behind it and the purpose. And I think that's where you wanna get your purpose behind what's going on.
I don't know how many had conversations at KIPP. I had conversations with a KIPster about what they wanted to do. And I asked the question, do you want to be an engineer? After that, I said, are you having fun? Yes. You want to be an engineer? No.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? I want to be a rapper. And was telling me about rap stars that I know nothing about, so I was pretty much out of that conversation. So one of you guys witnessed this. Did you hear me having this conversation? One of you did.
I wish I would turn that camera.
And I said, sir, I said, I'll bet there are a lot of people who want to be rappers, right? I mean, that sounds like a fun career, right? Do all the people who want to be rappers get to be rappers? You know, I just got, I think it was this year. This is terrible too. I don't know if it's year. You know, so it's great to see people who do things that are fun that you like to do, but you might want to think about, you know, are there other options that might be, you know, also for you? Not just sort of getting outside, because a lot of kids, they they have someone they idolize, and they say, that's what I'm gonna do, that's who I'm gonna be, and haven't really given any reality check on, okay, 1 out of every million rappers actually gets to the point they're an Eminem or right? Eminem. Hey! So anyway, but we had that career conversation, and they had it in their mind they were going to be a rapper. That's why they didn't want to be an engineer, and so that's who you're competing with. And in their world, pretty compelling. The rapper's pretty compelling.
Yeah, we get it. What I'm going to be looking for from you guys, your videos. You're basically, you have a good start, but you might have to go through and cut. Grant, yours needs to be shorter.
Yeah.
Okay. That's easy. There's lots of videos that are like really interesting, but just give us a snippet. You know, there's some things out there, like they said, public domain stuff. If it's not public domain, you can't use it.
What does that fully mean?
Yeah, how can you find out?
Like if it's on YouTube, is it public domain?
Public domain.
Oh gosh, so there's websites specifically that have public domain. John, can you comment on this one at all?
I didn't hear what the question was.
I don't know, like, he said if it's public domain, we can use it. I don't fully know what public domain means, like.
Well, as far as what public domain is, I don't. But what you can use in education as educational purposes and not as making money, then you can use it to go ahead and teach someone else. So, no, I can't answer your question. Because
And I
don't
think
know.
you're
I don't want to put you in a position where, oh my gosh, that was not public domain. That's what we tell our kids though. So when they're using stuff for our videos, if we are going to use it here in our classroom and we are going to learn from it, we can go ahead and use it here, and that's where it stops. So I don't know, because this is going to go on beyond that, quite frankly.
But we talked about the guidelines. I had a lengthy conversation with someone here at OSU specifically about this question. I think you've got a lot of latitude. I think where you start to get into trouble is if you made an entire 3-minute video and it was by about the Nike something or other product. You know, if you're using something that's trademarked, it's patented, and it's off somebody's commercial, and you're saying, you know.
I'm gonna make a new video.
Sorry, did I hit one here? Seriously,
Technically, we didn't get money for it, we got t-shirts, so. Just kidding.
Yes, Elsa.
I do want to mention, like, he said that, like, if you got it off YouTube, then it's fine. That's not true. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube that's not public domain, and you do need to check the sources.
Yeah.
Like, I've read articles about people getting into massive amounts of trouble because they took something off YouTube, assuming it was public domain, used it, and then got sued for it.
Just because it's easy to get doesn't mean it's public domain.
Hey, and you know what they're looking for? They're looking for that face-to-face interaction with Selby. Hers was bad because they just had her read it with her, like the camera's here and her script is here. Don't do that. You can memorize lines. You can do a lot better lighting. You need to show them your test setup. Like, here's what you're going to be doing. You got to support this way. It's pushing down here. Go. You have to get a little bit of that personal interaction. So that's going to be 2 minutes of what you got. So you're looking to fill 1 minute or 2 minutes of the content, getting them up to speed and getting them a general idea of the societal impacts and what engineers are doing here at OSU, what they're, why.
you don't have to start with, I worked in Dr. So-and-so's lab. No, you can cut right to the chase of societal significance. So, cancer, and, you know, so it doesn't have to be an accounting for who you are and what you did as much as it is start with societal significance of the research that's going on, and then in the analogy that they're going to have to solve.
For video, if you want to use a green screen or something, you can use our classroom. We're there 8 to 4 every day, Monday through Friday. But I would also make a weekend available, but not this weekend because I won't be around.
You have a green screen in your classroom?
It's just up for Arlington.
It's a green.
of fabric. I mean, that's what a green screen can be. It's so simple, but
What if you wanted to use
it's
that?
very simple
Or
to
something
use.
like that.
And very simple to use.
So if you wanted to put like Jack at like right next to his micro encapsulation, he's
Yes.
like, look at this glorious thing.
Yeah.
You just need to have the background, just know that whatever, you gotta have the, whatever.
Yeah, it could be a picture or
It
video
could be anything.
background. So
It
it's
could
really,
be
really cool.
Roland coming out of Ohio Stadium into his radar Ohio Stadium, into whatever
Dun,
you want.
dun, 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 dun.
Does anybody want more practice with their design challenge?
We could talk more, I think if you guys talk with us about, is it easy to build? Like I took Nate's home, his 2 aluminum foil things, and I just, the other day, Jimmy rigged up a track for him so I could run 2 cars next to each other. And it was just saying, I'll take a picture and show you, but we can kind of tweak things with you and talk you out and be like, well, you know, this is easier this way, or these are the materials most people are gonna have on hand and stuff like that. So use us as help.
Plan on bringing your boxes and materials for the remaining days of the class, so that when you show up here, we're gonna get the critique. You're gonna focus on one of your design challenges, and then plan on somebody else doing your design challenge that day and getting feedback. John, Steve, you know, cut through all the different things, say, this is what you need to do. Go do it, bring it back, like, here, change your test setup like this, and they will, you know, we have very few remaining days left, okay? I think we're gonna cut it short for now. Tomorrow, 5:30, we probably are going to be starting it off. I'm thinking about just driving over to Kip and stopping and talking to Anita. She asked if we wanted to show a video first. I'm not quite sure which video she's talking about. There's tons out there. So I'm going to get that kind of nailed down. Plan on wearing your red shirts. We need to figure out rides, right? Nate cannot make it, okay? How many people drove and can drive again? 2 can drive.
I did, but I can't. I'm coming from Cosi tomorrow, and that's.
Okay. All right, so who wants to ride with Ben and Molly? Okay, so Molly, who are you gonna take?
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm leaving
pick
from
your
North
favorites.
Campus, so like just north of Wayne, like on Norwich and Neil.
Jack, Natalie, Randall, and Josh. Okay, and then Ben, can you take a couple people? How many people can you take?
Legally?
4 more if you switch. Grant, you're in yet?
What time are we leaving?
Whatever time you want to. Get there by 5:30. Okay. Who else wants to go? Roland, can you go? Elsa, can you go? Okay. So we've got Grant and Shayla left. Is there anybody else? I don't know. Plan on her going. Can Grant and Shayla go with you? You'll have to talk afterwards, exchange numbers, make sure all that stuff. 5:15, try and be there at least by 5:15. The night starts at 5:30, wear your red shirts. If you've got a smaller test apparatus, go ahead and bring it. I'm not sure what we're gonna do though. So, I know that's vague, but the parents are gonna be there. If you wanna show them what their kids have been doing, it's a show and tell night. So if you bring something, people will be happy to look at it and understand what their kids have been doing. Okay? So, any questions?
We'll be distributing the t-shirts. I don't know exactly how that's gonna work, but they'll get those tomorrow.
Yeah. I could just bring them over now.
It's fine.
Give them to Anita. Yeah, since I'm gonna go.
If she
talk
can
to her.
pre-distribute, because I don't want to be the one who decides who gets, we got 48, and she came up with those numbers on the people who had regularly attended. There were a few, I guess, who joined the last week or something, and
Yeah.
they're not getting t-shirts, so we had to make a cut somewhere.
All right, great. See most of you tomorrow. Bye.
Molly, what time do you leave?
You guys can leave at like 5.
Yeah.
Does that work for everyone? So my address is 193 West Summit. It's literally on
when you mentioned the crosswalk too, is it still the photo?
Or just that first street.
No, it's a 24-inch by 6-inch board, and I just took 24-inch, like 2-inch wide cardboard,
This-
wrapped it in
it-
aluminum.
I mean, it's
thumbtacked it to the
Yeah,
board.
yeah.
My big thing was,
Exactly.
my whole thing was, what if I rip up the, right, what if the aluminum foil gets torn or something? I need to be able to replace it easily. So I pondered all this stuff, but then I had just battery boxes that would hold four
As far as everybody never goes.
Yeah, that's what that was my
That's
intention.
that
It
one.
worked out, I mean, cause I sat there, I couldn't get the battery like your setup. I kept trying it.
Yeah,
Couldn't
more
even get it, it was driving me nuts. It was like 1 out of every 5 would work, and I was like, I'm done. And I woke up one night.
But, so, I mean, if people want to skim through these and they get ideas.
I walked in the next day.
Or if there's a set format that you already want.
And the kids were like,
Then
how do you make
it
that
would
work
be
with a different partner that honestly isn't
But so we
ideal?
had the box was like a physical
Right.
plastic
It's just a
thing.
black plastic
They're a
box.
partner.
Okay.
Right.
Just
And
already set up.
they've got their own constraints, which I think is
Yeah, that's
really
what I
valuable
wanted.
for us.
That's my
I like
idea.
So
I was
2
looking
pages, those
like,
are all pretty
there's
much
some of the
just
big
2 pages.
flashlights.
Do I have an
Like
actual,
that.
I'll bring one in,
Get
I'll bring one in,
what
yeah, so
hits
you can
and
have,
what
and you can have it and say,
what
this
party.
is ideal for your thing, but, right, so then you can show it, say warm.
Hi, Jack.
That was pretty nice.
Something I've been thinking about for a while that